NXT took place this past Tuesday night in its home of Orlando, Florida at the WWE Performance Center. You had Fatal Influence starting off the show, fresh off of Jacy Jayne retaining her NXT Women's Championship at Evolution by defeating Jordynne Grace after Blake Monroe turned on her. Jacy has trouble speaking after being elbowed in the throat. I'm not sure if it was at Evolution or the Great American Bash. She throws Fallon and Henley. She throws Fallon and Jasmine under the bus after losing at Great American Bash. She moves on to talk about facing Masha Slamovich at Slammiversary. Masha interrupted her. It's kind of weird when I heard her talk. It's a very American accent. I was expecting her to have a Russian accent because Masha is originally born in Russia. I believe born in Moscow, so I was kind of expecting a Russian accent, but maybe she can go to Lana. Lana can teach her how to speak in a Russian accent. I'm kidding. But then, and by the way, I don't know if Lana's ever coming back. I guess not. I mean, Rusev's doing his own thing. But then Sol Ruka and Zarya come out for some reason. I'm not sure why. It leads to a brawl, setting up a 6-woman tag. Just nothing of substance here. Just a random brawl. I'm not into NXT right now. It is freaking cold. Maybe it's because of the Great American Bash. If the Great American Bash, as I said during the review, was like a 2-part television TV special, maybe like part 1 takes place in Atlanta, part 2 takes place in Houston or something, I think I would be a lot more higher on NXT. But here, I mean, the Great American Bash was not a PLE. It was just like an NXT 3-hour show. It could have been, cut up into 2 hours as regular television. Here, you just had a bunch of TNA, LFG, Evolve, and you had all these people from outside of NXT on this show, and it just doesn't even feel like NXT is its own thing anymore. It feels like NXT is losing its soul. It's losing its identity. It doesn't even exist. It just exists as a medium for all these other projects WWE has, and it seems like they're just using NXT as an advertisement for LFG and Evolve and their partnership with TNA and their partnership with AAA. It just, I'm really annoyed what's happening with TNA. What's happening with NXT. I haven't been this down on NXT probably since the 2.0 days. And at least that time it sucked, but they were building up stars. I mean, Braun Breaker, Tiffany Stratton, Roxanne Perez, look at them right now. Here, oh man, I am not happy with NXT right now. I really am annoyed they ran that Great American Bash show. Such an unnecessary show. They didn't do very well, didn't draw well. And, it hurt their TV show. It hurt the television show this whole summer. I'll leave it at this. I'm really down on NXT right now. We got a featurette on the Dawn. Each one of the competitors in the triple threat match had their own feature. This was called Birth of the Dawn. Mike Santana was out next, and Joe Hendry came out. I have to say, when Hendry came out, it just feels like the novelty is gone with him. They're overexposing him, and then they're just overdoing it with the TNA crossovers. Trick Williams is out next, and then they face Dark State. I didn't give a shit about this. I want Dark State released. I think they're all fucking shit. The System from TNA, who I don't give a shit about either, interferes, causing disqualification. I'm not watching Slammiversary on Sunday. I'll just leave it at that. Ariane Grace was backstage with Carmen Petrovic, who we haven't seen in a while, and there were some other girls there. Then the Evolve champion, Callie Armstrong, came in, started challenging Carmen, and set up a match later. As I said, just too much Evolve, too much LFG, too much TNA. Callie Armstrong came out next, and again, this just feels like a giant advertisement. Hey, watch Evolve, watch Evolve. I know you're watching NXT. We're on the CW network. Come watch Evolve on fucking YouTube internationally or on Tubi in the US. Then we see Jordynne Grace arriving, which completely overshadows Callie Armstrong. We got a featurette on Stacks for the triple threat. Carmen Petrovic was out next, and we get Callie Armstrong, Carmen Petrovic. Match barely lasts I don't even know how long it lasted. It didn't go on for very long. Jordynne Grace just stormed the ring, attacks both of them, causing a disqualification. Just the same thing we saw last match. The System from TNA ruins Dark State's 6-man tag match, and just like we see here, Jordynne Grace just decides to ruin a woman's match. And I'm thinking to myself, we've seen this twice now. You've done the exact same thing twice on this show. They try to calm her down. She calls out Blake Monroe. Then we got a Blake Monroe video airing, and she cuts a promo on Jordan Grace from her bathtub and her while she's in a bubble bath. And Blake's going to be in action next week against Ren Sinclair, and Jordan is stopped by security from going after her. She attacked some officials. I don't remember. We see all these people backstage. It's all LFG, and I'm just so annoyed with this shit. It's just too much. Fuck, I can't enjoy the show. NXT doesn't even exist as a show anymore, it seems like. It just feels like it's just a medium for all these other things WWE is doing. It's to the point where it's kind of like one of those countdown shows that previews everything going on in the company. They're just using NXT as a platform for everything else. I mean, I want to see NXT. And you have all these LFG people there. Trick Williams walks in front of him, and he calls out The Undertaker because he's one of their coaches. And they're setting up Houston next week, and then we see The Undertaker call one of their phones, and you have American Badass by Kid Rock playing, and I'm thinking to myself, that's absolutely hilarious, because they have Kid Rock as American Badass. They have that as their ringtone, because why else would that play? It's just funny. Undertaker is going to be in Houston next week now. You had Ava talking to Jasper Troy backstage. I don't care. I don't care about Jasper Troy at all. I think he sucks. He's facing Ricky Saints next week. I mean, he didn't have a good match with Javon Evans. Jasper Troy fucking sucks. I don't give a shit about this LFG big lumbering chain guy. He sucks. We got a feature on Luca, and then we had the triple threat match being set up. Stacks was out first, then Luca. We go backstage. Kelly Kincaid interviews Lash Legend about her performance in Battle Royal. She came to the final two before she was eliminated by Stephanie Vaquer. Then Jada Parker interrupts her, and she's doing that Jada Parker chant, and then she also wants to face the champion. They have a bit of a confrontation. Tony D'Angelo came out next, and then we get the family business triple threat match, what the show was really built around. As I said, I think if you were to take all the Great American Bash matches, plus this triple threat match, make it like a 2-week Great American Bash special on NXT, I'd be really a lot more higher on NXT than I am right now, because they basically wasted a whole TV show on that stupid Great American Bash show that not a lot of people watch, just so they can counter program All In. Well, now at the same time, they had nothing left for TV, and they put on like a really shit show this past Tuesday. But this triple threat match was good. It was probably the best part of the show. Match went on for a while. You had Choney spear Stacks through the NXT circular structure by the ringside, that platform, that circular structure. He basically spears them through it. And this is near the bottom, and they actually go right through the wood, which was actually the best part of the match. Tony really gets fired up near the end. He hits a spinebuster onto Luca through the announce table, so he takes out Luca, and after the spear, Stacks is still recovering, and then Tony spinebuster Stacks 1, 2, 3. Tony D'Angelo wins the family business triple threat match and seemingly wins the feud. Good for him. Not a big fan of the family. Hope it's over, but this was actually a good send-off match if this is really it. Backstage, Tavion Heights is talking to Ren Sinclair after she threw in the towel last week against Charlie Dempsey. Dempsey comes in, and then they talk a bit. Ren wants a match next week, and eventually she would get one when she faces Blake in Houston next week. Josh Briggs heads to the ring. Obafemi comes out and confronts him. Then Inamura's out next. He's mad that Briggs is mad because he thinks Inamura is soft. Sets up a triple threat match. They have like no time to build anything because that stupid show that fucked everything up. You had Fatal Influence warming up in the back locker room backstage, and I know the reason they didn't put much effort into NXT. They were going head to head with the All-Star Game and the MLB All-Star Game, and because of that, NXT had its lowest rating of the year, I believe. So that was a reason, but also, I mean, the show sucks. That's a reason why people aren't tuning in as much. I mean, compare and contrast NXT from like 6 months ago. They were on fire. It was the best show on TV when they had that women's division with Stephanie Vaquer and Roxanne Perez and Julia, and then you had Bayley going back there for a while. The women's division was fire several months ago. Now it sucks. I mean, JC Jane, that's the biggest issue, putting her as champ. And look at the ratings since JC Jane's been champ. What does that tell you? She sucks. Why Shawn Michaels pushed this chick? She's garbage. Anyway, they had a feature on Ethan Page. He's doing a whole North American Patriot gimmick. First, they show Canada Day, which was July 1st, and they show like Niagara Falls and things like that. Then they showed, American the U.S. holiday, which is on July 4th, and they show the Statue of Liberty. So he's like a patriot for all of North America. They didn't show Mexico, but I mean, I guess that's his whole gimmick, is he's the North American champion. He'll celebrate next week in Houston. Ricky Saints was interviewed by Kelly Kincaid. He cuts a promo on Jasper Troy, and then they show tweets from The Undertaker saying he's going to be in Houston next week, where he'll confront Trick Williams. Then they preview all of next week's show in Houston. You had Masha Slamovich, Slow-Rook, and Zarya head to the ring. Izzy Dame, who was looking in the background with the culling, finds Tatum Paxley hiding under somewhere backstage, and she's depressed after a loss at Great American Bash to try to tell her to basically keep her chin up. She's still going to be in the culling. You had Fatal Influence out next, and then their opponents came out. You get the 6-woman tag main event. They show Lexis King in the crowd wearing headphones to make fun of Miles Bourne because he's deaf. The culling interfered here, but Hank and Tank fought him off, and right when the Izzy and Tatum interfered, Sol-Rook and Zarya took him out. And then in the ring, it's basically Masha Slamovich 1-on-1 and 3, and she fights them all off. And then eventually Masha pins JC Jane, and all I thought was, after Masha Slamovich won, was, alright, JC's going to be a double champion at Slammiversary. I feel bad for TNA, actually. Saddling them with JC Jane. Ooh, that's rough. I mean, Trick's at least a star, or at least a name, JC. Ooh, she's going to be the TNA Knockouts champion. She's going to be a double champion this Sunday. Then they previewed the show next week, and that's how it ended. Yeah, I am not high on NXT, and I did not enjoy the show at all this past Tuesday. I hope they can turn this around, because if they don't, the ratings are going to keep going down.